podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
I hear somebody's back in school.
Yeah, I'm back in school. It took 2 or 3 weeks to get the financial aid sorted. I think it's just between being a returning student and just the current administration. They're just like, yeah, we don't feel like dealing with this right now.
Yeah, my loans pick back up next month.
Really?
It's been 6 months since I graduated, so.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
I'm still waiting to hear about forgiveness. I should be able to get somewhere between 5 and 12 technically.
That's something.
If I was a special ed teacher, I'd get pretty much all of it forgiven. But I'm social studies and administration, not science, special ed, or math.
You initially went to school without loans, right?
Yeah, this is the first. I'm going to owe about 22 when this is all said and done, which is not bad. I hate to say that that's not bad, but
yeah, I already owed 22, or already owed I owed about 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with me is, like, when I was in school initially, it was just I was bouncing around, didn't really have a.
Well, no one really gave you that much direction from the like college point of view, but also
to be fair, Delta did. ULM did not. But of course, I'm talking about ULM like
a decade ago.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The atmosphere on colleges today is way different than it was then. Because remember back when we were kids, or when we were teenagers, you're just going to go to college and everything's fine. You can dick around in college.
Yeah. There was in the 2000s, there was a whole genre of comedy. And it dated back to the 70s, honestly, where it was like.
Well, the thing is that starts from, think about the 70s and 80s when like some of those comedies first really start picking up, is that you're looking at $600 a semester with books.
Yeah, and you could pay for that over in between semesters.
Yeah, well, you could even pay for that with a part-time job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
During that time period. So, the difference is now that they learn that you can make a fucking business out of it.
Yeah.
Which
I'll be honest, I didn't even buy the books this time around.
No, all my books were digital and I really hated that.
Yeah. I have one book.
Mm-hmm.
I shit you not. The last edition was 2012.
Oh, I can beat you on that. One of the books I had to read in administration was a 98.
Why?
Because the guy who wrote that book was, I can't even remember the name of it.
Super special, and he could see the future. Good job.
Shut up, Nathan, on Discord. Let me mute this. Sorry, future Chris. But no, he was the guy who wrote that in 98 was like one of the first people to really start proposing that you start treating ADHD differently when it comes to discipline and stuff. So like he was like he
kind of ahead of his time when it came to that. Like,
and he still wasn't the first one that proposed that, but
it was more popular after he.
Yeah. So
and I do remember as a kid with ADHD, like I think it was the YMCA of Louisiana that I went to.
Yeah.
For,
the one on Jackson Street.
Yeah. That, for summer.
Yeah.
Your parents would just drop you off and basically sit there the whole day. They would never give me my medication.
Mm-hmm.
And they would treat me like, essentially like I was a problem kid. Which I didn't think I was that. Okay, I was a little bit of a problem. But.
No, you were more of a snarky ass when we were kids. But I also was like in born again evangelical church, so I was a bit of a smarmy ass because of the DC Talk era of learning religion.
And I also pissed off your
yeah, you did.
Counselor.
He's the pastor there now. He went to Greenwood for a while, and then he came back. He's been the pastor.
I don't know if that's actually cool or not. I'm just like, that's
okay. He's an okay dude, but I will never go back to that church because of the way that they handle some things. One handled my opinions on things when I moved up into like the age group that was starting to become active leaders in the church, and I kept getting told to shut up. And I'm like, hey, you're not being Christian. It's like, don't ask me my opinion. Don't ask, like, you look like you want to say something. I do. You don't want to hear it because you want to run this like a business. But also just the Southern Baptist churches or Southern Baptist conventions way of handling LGBTQ plus handling.
Yeah. I mean, my mom's old church, the church I used to go to, split because of that. Like, because half of the congregation was like all for, like they didn't care, but the other half was like, no, this is sinful, blah blah blah.
Well, if you decide to eat too much fucking food at the buffet, you know, Bob. I went through like 3 names, and I'm like, I can't say a name of anybody that we know.
I mean, I know a Bob, so
I'm saying like if all of a sudden I went Kyle, I'd have 2 people from South Louisiana. I'm about to go beat his ass about talking. But no, it's like just the view on it and the amount of people at that church that went hard into the MAGA movement, like in 2016.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, generally speaking, that's a huge fucking problem around here anyway.
Well, I mean, it is because there's no Christianity in MAGA at all.
Yeah. Speaking of LGBTQ stuff, I'm actually going to the Pride Parade in Lafayette.
Nice. When is that going to be?
Next week.
Okay.
So I have a busy 3 weeks.
You do.
Going down to Lafayette, and then I'm going, we're going to Florida for the beach. And for the record, I didn't pick Florida.
I mean, let's be honest. If you're looking at beaches, Louisiana does not have a ton of those. And then Mississippi and Alabama, you might as well drive a couple more hours and get to the Panhandle and just.
I mean, at least in the Panhandle, there's like decent restaurants and decent areas to go, but like,
and you can also say I survived the state where a man stabbed someone at Waffle House with a frozen squirrel.
That's true. But no.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't pick that. My roommate and her family were like, yeah, we're gonna go here. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm gonna get my inflatable and sit out
in the ocean or the Gulf,
and then
of Mexico,
Gulf of Mexico, and I'm gonna eat crabs. I'm gonna get maybe some grouper.
Fight a pelican again.
Try and fight a pelican. If I get that drunk, I haven't been drinking a lot, but. And then after that, we have the 4th of July, which I'm
really looking forward to the 4th of July. I'm going to be in Baton Rouge Tuesday, Wednesday for Vincent's neurology appointment, and then drive from there to Vicksburg to meet my mom because it'll be easier. It's okay. One, it's longer for me to get home, but it's shorter.
It's an easier drive.
Well, no, it's shorter for me and my mother to meet in Vicksburg from Baton Rouge than meet in Monroe.
I mean, that's fair.
So we're going to do that. And then if my mom wants to, we're going to take her to eat for her birthday at Key City. If she doesn't want to, Emily's going to take me to eat at Key City for Father's Day.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
I got a text from AT&T, my service provider, about get the father in your life. Like, but it made it very specific. I'm like, damn, dude.
Hey, at least
I'm pretty sure my dad will not enjoy your phone right now.
You know what? Preston really would love this new Galaxy 85.
I'll just go throw it on his fucking gravestone, I guess.
All of a sudden, you get a call from your dad, and we got a good ghost story.
But anyway, I have no good segue for this. So, do you want to hear about one of the most influential UFO encounters ever?
No.
Oh well.
Shit. But we're doing it anyway. Yes, very much yes.
You know what? You know what I like? Beef ribs. I don't know why I have beef ribs on the mind just because I'm thinking of the.
We're thinking of. We've been preparing for that for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. So have you heard of the story of Barney and Betty Hill?
Yes. I believe that they're one of the most, like you said, they're one of the most well-known story, but I think they also might have been one of the first ones to really put out the idea of abductions.
You're right.
Or is it probing?
Well, we'll get into that. So Barney and Betty Hill were civil rights activists from New Hampshire and an interracial couple during a time when that was, well, to be honest, dangerous.
Yeah.
Very rare, very dangerous. They were in New Hampshire, which is not like it's not like Mississippi, but it's still not good.
I mean, the thing is what we're looking 1960s or 1950s here.
1960s.
Okay, so
and they got married in like 1955.
Okay, so to throw this out there is, even though the South is the one known for Jim Crow, the South was just being loud about it.
Yeah,
the whole country was sus.
Yeah, people don't realize. I think I've mentioned this before, but people don't realize, like, Malcolm X is not from the South. He's like from Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean,
his parents were actually. I don't know if they were a victim or they were witness to like a race riot that happened in Nebraska.
Well, I mean, everybody people want to act like everything's so far away, but think about it. Someone going, like, our parents, or my parents are in their 60s.
Yeah.
They lived through desegregation and stuff in the South, and that's, I mean, my mom's almost 70 and my dad's like 62. So, I mean, like, at the same time, this is going to make me sound old, because I'm going to say a 62-year-old's not actually old.
Yeah.
Like, it's old, but it's not. There's not a umlaut over that O.
Look, the older you get, the more you realize, like...
We have friends. We have friends that are in their mid-50s.
Yeah. So, I mean, you realize just how close certain ages are.
Well, look, we got one friend that's gonna be 60 soon.
Yeah, so... They were active in the Civil Rights era, as I said, being members of the NAACP and a local Unitarian church. They also had some victories in their state of New Hampshire, in the town of Portsmouth, which is where they're from, where they joined a lawsuit against a barber who discriminated against a black man. Doesn't that sound familiar? Okay, however, they are most known for being one of the most defining UFO stories of the era, shaping UFO lore and conspiracies for decades. And quick note here, this isn't a comprehensive layout of events because there's like whole ass books.
Yeah, if it's... speaking of which, I was listening to like a 2018 episode of And That's Why We Drink. And they were talking about the Pascagoula, which, by the way, it's pronounced Pascagoula, not Pascagoula. That they couldn't pronounce it. Like when we did the Moon Man of Kilgore Hill. Like, I fully feel we need to go back and revisit Pascagoula, but they mentioned this one multiple times. In it.
I mean, I think the thing is, we like, and this is a bit of a tangent, but we can actually just redo old episodes.
I don't want to redo it. I just feel like the Pascagoula alien one is one that deserves more attention. But what I'm saying is, M in that mentioned how many books they read.
Yeah.
Over the one you're talking about now.
Yeah. I feel like, again, another tangent. I feel so bad because, you know, That's Why We Drink, and other people like read whole ass books and everything, and I'm like, I gotta Google.
They also, okay, like, and That's Why We Drink. That's their full-time job.
Okay.
Unless M's going back to working, like, I don't know. I'm still like not even in the 2020s of their episodes. Graveyard Tales. One of them, his job is Graveyard Tales. The other one is a hospice at-home nurse, and like he's never in the hospital. So, like, a lot of these other podcasts that we listen to and love, which y'all keep doing what you're doing amazing. Not that you're listening. But, like, we both have full-time...
Yeah. I mean, I make jokes, but it is like, damn, I really need to... I need to just download some audiobooks and actually, like...
I'm not gonna lie, I've been listening to a lot of cryptid audiobooks. The problem with that is AI voices for the readers. And as someone that has tried to do audiobook work, not cool. But yeah. I think I might start buying you some books as like your birthday gifts and stuff.
That'll be cool with me. So, getting into the actual events, in September 1961, they were heading home from Niagara Falls, from a delayed honeymoon. They were trying to get back to Portsmouth before a hurricane would roll through. Although they would say that despite driving, despite the hurricane potentially coming through, they said it was a clear night. On Route 3, Betty noticed something that seemed strange below Mars or below the Moon and Jupiter.
Ooh.
What she initially thought it could be is a shooting star, but the movements were strange, erratic. You know, your usual thing where it's like...
That's not right.
Yeah. Looking through binoculars, the object had odd shape and multicolor lights. And in some of the instances, they said it had like 2 rows of windows. Barney, being the more skeptical of the two, assumed it was an aircraft or satellite going off course. So he was like, "Yeah, that's probably."
That's all RGB strips on there.
However, unconvinced, Betty had Barney park to get a better look at the craft. Though the craft was moving in a peculiar way, they did somewhat convince themselves, looking through the binoculars and kind of sitting there being like, inspecting it. It's like, yeah, it has to be a plane. And I'm assuming, assuming the story is true, part of that is just like, I don't know what I'm looking at, so I'm just going to go to the next most believable thing sort of deal. However, once they got back in their car, the object rapidly started coming towards them. And as it came towards them, it would descend on them, and Barney would be forced to stop near Lincoln, New Hampshire, where their memories would become faded. Next thing they know, they would wake up 35 miles down the road in Ashland with little idea how they got there. So they literally were like...
They time skipped.
They literally were like... Feel like they were getting chased, and then suddenly they were in the car, kind of like...
Huh.
Yeah, just...
Now, I'm going to say this from the skeptic point of view. I totally have time skip between Vicksburg and Rayville.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, when you travel, especially if you've traveled a lot, like we have, there are moments where you're just zoned out. Even if you're driving, you might be aware, but you've done it so many times.
You're on autopilot. Like there's like the number of times I cannot tell you at the old house how many times like going from work to home, and I'm like, I'm pulling in my driveway. Where the other 5 minutes I just had?
Yeah, it's weird, but you just do that just because I guess your brain just gets used to doing that.
I mean, the brain is a weird thing.
However, the biggest thing is when they arrived home at 5 a.m., it was a full 2 hours before they were planning to. So they likely lost about 2 hours of time between feeling chased and then where they were. And there were some vague details they remember, but they couldn't really think about what it was, such as a sharp turn or a moonlit sky, but nothing solid would come into their mind. They would also notice strange things, like as they were getting home, they noticed that Betty's dress was torn, Barney's shoes were scuffed up, the strap on the binoculars were broken. There were also strange circles on the trunk of the car which would react to magnet, or not magnets, but the compass. So they would move it. So they had electromagnetic fields or magnetic fields, not necessarily electromagnetic, because that implies a
electrical battery to the thing. Here's the thing: is my brain's like, y'all just got high and had weird car sex. That's...
God, I hope not. Apparently they had a dog in the car with them. The dog in the car just sitting there like,
you're putting dents in the tail, guys. The trunk is getting dented. No.
Stop.
This is why my cousin caused that dude to murder everyone.
God damn it. So the Hills had a lasting unease about the situation, with Betty throwing away all the food from the trip, leaving the luggage outside. Not just because the luggage felt off, but because she was concerned about radioactivity.
I mean, like if you have dents or you got circles that are reacting in the hood, or not the hood, but the trunk, and that's where your luggage is, I'd kind of want to leave it outside too, let that air out, especially with 1950s, 1960s logic of how all that works.
Barney did not want to speak about this. He would reluctantly talk with his wife to the Peace Air Force Base in Portsmouth, and they would tell the story, but they would hold back on some of the more fantastical elements because they were like,
Yeah, you're gonna think that we were smoking the devil's lettuce, and
despite Barney being a veteran, he was a World War II veteran. Like, I mean, he was still black. So, just to bring it back, they were an interracial couple. He was black, she was white, and there was still a lot of, there was probably
yeah, definitely. Because that, like, let's just say it this way: even today, people seem to get more upset about one pairing in interracial relationships than the other pairing, and I don't get that. People love people.
Yeah, I mean, as someone in an interracial relationship in a marriage, the main thing I get from people is people just not realizing we're together. Like, if me and Ruby are together, and if any other person is with us, male or female, they'll assume we're with them. If, like, let's say if I'm with my roommate, they'll assume I'm with my roommate,
and Ruby's the friend.
Yeah, when it's the other way around. It's not until, like, me and Ruby are talking, or we're together,
or Ruby's just yelling at you and telling you you're being silly.
Yeah, or just doing couples things that people are like, oh, they're a couple. It's weird that way, and then people get, like, weird about male female. Or,
it's something of like, y'all, it is the year of our Lord Optimus Prime 2026. You should get over some of this.
But they would report this to the Peace Air Force Base, and it would be inducted into the Project Blue Book, a project documenting UFO encounters, and government investigators would actually go up to the hills and talk with them, and they would say that they were reliable witnesses, in the sense that they believed what they were saying. They didn't believe they were hoaxing them. Like, again, I'm trying to stress the fact that, like, just because like, we don't believe this might have happened, or if people don't believe this might have happened, the people that it happened to might believe it.
The people I'm going to say this, they definitely believe.
Oh yeah, I believe that Barney and Betty Hill 100% believe what they did, and we're going to go into why here in a minute. But however, it would be a few years before the real story would come to light, because they spent a few years kind of maybe talking to a friend. I think they talked to like a small group of ufologists, but they didn't really talk about it. However, they were having issues with their physical and mental states. They were, experiencing depression. They were experiencing anxiety. They were having, like, headaches and things like that. And their doctor recommended they go to a renowned psychologist and neurologist known for working with patients with shell shock, or what we would call
PTSD,
named Dr. Benjamin Simon. Dr. Simon would take a neutral approach to the UFO story. Like, after he heard it, he's like, okay, I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's not. My primary concern is your well-being. That's what he wanted to do. And he decided, let's try hypnosis therapy. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can bring out some of these memories, see if we can fill in the gaps, and maybe that'll help shine some light on what's been going on. And though the couple was hesitant, they would eventually agree to it, and they would both have several sessions over months, and they would have sessions separate from each other. So they would have their own sessions. They would not.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure about, like, one's influencing the other, or they've been talking about the story.
And this is, like, generally, like, of course, this is 1960s, but
that's pretty general, like, on how to talk to witnesses on stuff.
Not just witnesses, but just in terms of psychology. Sometimes you want to do things where you focus on one person, especially when it comes to couples therapy. Like, you might have them for conflict resolution in the room together, but sometimes you need to just talk to one person. and having that other person there can influence it. And in this case, he probably wanted to just kind of get an idea of where both were. What the Hills would recount would be a narrative that mostly reinforced each other. So it wasn't 100%. It wasn't ironclad, but it was very good. They would both talk about aliens, what they would call men in this instance, being short, gray-skinned men with black suits. Barney would state that the leader would have his own jacket and would seemingly feel like he was watching him, even when he wasn't there. So, I think there was a story why they had, like, the sharp right turn mental image in their head. It's because he sharply turned into a field. And then he saw the leader and everything, and there was, like, this thing that he focused on specifically was the leader. And he constantly talked about that. Betty's recollection was better than Barney, with her recalling conversations with figures. Which, this is where a lot of the ideas about, like, common UFO myths and legends come from. Both would report going through invasive procedures. Betty would recall...
Invasive?
Yeah, so they were technically stripped naked, and they were given... Or I don't know if they were stripped naked. It's kind of like... The sources I saw were kind of vague on that. Some would say naked, some would say partially unclothed, things like that.
Are you saying like either they're completely naked or they got like the butts out nightgown from the hospital?
I know that Barney had his butt out because like they apparently put some sort of device on his groin. I like the face you're making. We can't use that in the audio only format, but
I'm sorry, you just made it sound like the aliens put a pocket pussy on the poor dude in the 1960s, and now I'm concerned.
Well, when it's okay. You look scared. Let me help you out there. Just go up and down and up and down and just
acknowledge the nozzle, but don't look it in the eye. Oh my god!
So,
I'm sorry. Why do you like? Okay, I guess before we continue, because we've kind of gone on this. This is like one of the only issues I run into with like alien abductions and stuff. Why is it that aliens always have like a perverted scientific interest in us?
I mean, I think the idea of it is that they are trying to collect, like, if they're going to pick something up, and then this is, I guess, is a scientific way of looking about it, is if you're going to pick a specimen up that is a human or a cow or whatever, you're going to try and get as many samples from it and get as much data from it as possible.
I guess so, but like...
But the thing is, it's like, sometimes it just doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make sense unless you're talking about, like, actual fears that people have. Like, let's say, like, the butt probe shit. A lot of that is just fear of butt stuff.
Well, I mean, really. Yeah, but not just that, it's...
Our fear of being violated,
yeah, that's a bigger one. I think the violate, but, like, with the Fire in the Sky one, like the movie, like the dude like wakes up underneath a plastic sheet covered in goop or something like that.
Yeah, or they put like a fucking film on his head and then like stick something in his mouth. And
there's like a level of like...
Now the thing is with Travis Walton though, that the movie was embellished heavily.
I know, I'm just saying,
it's still they do all this weird shit, and I guess part of it is to like convey that like aliens are alien in the strictest sense, and what they're doing just doesn't make sense to us. On the other hand, if you're going to look at it from a scientific perspective, I mean, if you're going to pick up specimens, you're going to get everything. But then, and then you get into the fact, it's like, why are they just picking up specimens and getting like skin samples, which is what they do here, or getting other sorts of samples and then dropping them off unless they're trying to get like a genome?
I mean, okay, they're just dropping you off after stuff. Whenever we've like a Greenland shark when they find them, like we alien abduct fucking animals all the time. So I can kind of get that, but like every time like I've heard an alien abduction story, it gets like weirdly, inappropriately, and uncomfortably sexual.
And it's also just very broad. Like when we take an animal out of its habitat, it's usually for a specific purpose. It's like we want to make sure, or we're like tracking a disease, we're tracking animals, seeing how they're doing. We're not just like, jerking them off, taking skin samples, blood samples, whatever, throwing them out.
I mean, this is a complete derailment, but again, this is like one of the only issues whenever we do, and it like alien abductions start to skirt into that true crime ick feeling for me, because it's like, it's like, I mean, you could always do the PG version, and they took samples. But if you read what people write down in alien abductions, it gets...
With this one, like, we're getting into like what they did with them. Like, Betty recalled a painful ovarian probe.
Ugh.
Like, through the navel.
Oh, so like they put like a syringe in her, tried to get an egg or something?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I've heard this version, they're trying to do a pregnancy test.
Why the fuck does this sound like Stephen Miller?
Oh, God.
He's a gray. He's small, he's bald, and he's inappropriate.
But as soon as she started showing pain, like, the leader stopped it immediately.
Okay, so they know consent and limits.
And he apologized and was like, well, first he, like, put his hand over her eyes and the pain stopped. And then he was like, I apologize, I didn't know. We wouldn't have done that if we would have known it caused pain. And then
fucking ask, Cletus.
I know, right? But this is where things get kind of weird, because Betty apparently had like extended conversations with these aliens. One thing they did was remove Barney's dentures, because then he had, due to an accident or through whatever, he had full dentures. Which is crazy at like 38. He was like only 38.
No, man, like we know people that have extensive bridges and also have,
I mean, that's true.
Or have the equivalent
I probably need a partial myself.
Or like people that had flippers, I'm sorry for anybody at home. Flipper is is similar to a retainer, but it has artificial teeth. It's usually used as a stopgap between actual dental work and extraction.
It's used for that. It's used kind of as a retainer. It's also used for aesthetics. It's not good.
Well, I'm saying the reason I'm saying like it's a retainer is because it clicks in like one, is what I mean.
But they took his teeth out. They tried to take her teeth out, and they're like, "Why don't your teeth remove?" And she explained why that happened, and then that got into the question of age. So they asked, "What is age?" So she explained what aging was, and they're like, "What is life? What is this and that?"
This is starting to sound extra dimensional, not extraterrestrial, man.
Yeah. Like they were asking so many strange questions that I think, a biological life form would understand, like...
Unless they're trying to make sure she understands it.
That's true.
Because, I mean, if, like every sci-fi movie ever, we're the backwater.
Yeah. So they're sitting there, asking questions like that, and eventually she got kind of fatigued by it because they were just recursive, which goes into your point. Maybe they were just testing her, see her intelligence. Or
again, if they're extra, because a lot of times people throw aliens and Bigfoot, especially into the extra dimensional.
Right.
So they might come from, if say they're 6th or 7th dimensional, which I'm not going to get into all that nonsense because eventually that makes my mind hurt and I start staring at people funny. But the thing is that they might not understand death. Or another weird way of looking at aliens is some people say they're Fae, not alien. And Fae don't technically age.
That reminds me of a Supernatural episode where, he's not Fae, he was an archangel, Michael, I believe, that pretended to be the god Loki, our trickster god. And he faked He faked a UFO thing and did the whole probing bullshit.
God damn it, Michael.
Fucking Michael. Or Gabriel. It was Gabriel. My bad.
That makes way more sense. I'm not going to put context to that one.
But yeah, she would eventually ask where he came from, and he would pull up a star map and point to that. And this star map, after she drew it, a amateur astronomer would put that into the Zeta Reticuli. So Zeta Reticuli, that's where that comes from. It's the apparently where gray aliens come from.
Do reptilians come from Andromeda?
I think so, actually.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, the thing is, it's like if you look into like all the alien UFO lore, like they have like the Greys, they have the reptilians, they have I forget what they're called, but they're basically look like Aryan fucking Dutch people, like the very stereotypical. I know it's a shitty term.
The blonde hair, blue eyed, tall white people.
Yeah, there's that kind of alien. There's.
I wonder where our carrot boys from Pascagoula come from.
I have no idea.
Aldi's.
Aldi's
galaxies.
Betty would originally be given a book, as like because she was like, "Well, I want to tell people about you, but I don't think anyone would believe me." And she looked around and she's like, "Can I bring that with me?" And the leader was like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and do that."
You grabbed the book. The last time we loaned it out was to a guy named Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
You didn't get that joke.
I didn't process it initially, but now I get it.
Sorry.
God damn it. However, after they were like processed and they were being let out, the leader was like, "Well, look, I have to take the book back because our leaders don't want you to have any memory."
Sorry, it's due back to the library.
It's due back to the library. At first he was just trying to be nice. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I guess you could have that book."
Oh shit, she's actually taking it.
Oh, it's gonna be late.
Oh,
yeah. My boss, he's a stickler. He wants your memory to be gone. And she protested. Was like, "I'm gonna remember everything."
And then he just pulls out the neuralizer.
And he's like, "Yeah, sure, that could happen, I guess, but bye."
You know what? I'm gonna say this. Other than the probing and weird stuff here, like the boss alien seems moderate chill.
He's just like, "I'm just trying some,
You know what? No, he's not even the one doing all the science shit. He's just the manager that's on shift right now.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever."
Look, he's over here like, "I have a liberal arts degree."
It should also be noted. It should also be noted that he had apparently like a black jacket and a hat. So when I was reading this, I was just picturing the Milady guy.
He's
an alien.
He's got a trill. Everyone else is wearing like white button-up shirts and black ties like it's the 1950s. This motherfucker has a blazer and a trilby.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when they say black suits, I mean like
spandex type spacer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining
this guy is just dressed like
I'm imagining like if you put glasses on, we have Intergalactic Blues Brothers about to happen.
Through this process, they were able to recover the memories or dreams being the source of their woes. Though Betty was adamant that the dreams happened, Barney was a little bit skeptical and left room for other information or other explanations. Essentially, he was like, "It feels real, but I don't know." And, I could chalk it up to my just to my psyche. I mean, he was like a patient. He was literally someone that probably suffered from PTSD
from World War II. But also, let's throw this out there. He's probably like, if I say anything too crazy around all these white people in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed is like a lot of the stories in here came down to who they felt they could trust, because this was the 1960s. This happened from like 1961 to 1966, and we're about to get into one of the reasons why they lost trust in people. It's like, who do you talk to about this without?
Please tell me they didn't talk to Ed and Lorraine Warren.
No.
Thank God.
Fortunately, they don't pop up. That's not their wheelhouse anyway. Their wheelhouse is grifting like
ghost shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. They might have like tried aliens before they hit on ghosts. They probably we did Bigfoot. It didn't work, baby.
They were too Christian, I think. Like Christian in the sense that they were, quote unquote. To his credit, Dr. Simon didn't really. I've seen didn't believe, but also didn't really take a stance on that.
He's
but
like,
rather
these folks have had some mental strain, and it's causing problems for them. You know what? I don't believe the alien stuff, but I believe that they experienced something that.
Yeah, I mean that was essentially his thing, and his main hypothesis was or what he believed was that as an interracial couple, they were having like collective trauma, and it kind of manifested in this story, because there was a lot of things that he talked about that were like similar to like the scrutinizing that interracial couples get, the questions, things like that. And he was like, yeah, I think it's potentially this. But yeah, that was his thing. He was like, okay, I think this is what's the issue here. And like, it doesn't sound like and this is one of the reasons why I need to read the book, both books, is that it seems like he was very neutral and being like, I'm here to help you. And from my perspective, this is what's going on, and this is how we're going to move forward. And seemingly it helped, because, you know, for the next few years, they were able to kind of put this behind them and, you know, go about their lives until a public outing happened.
Oh, don't you just hate a public outing?
Yeah, public outing. So unlike a lot of people who have encounters, the Hills didn't really want the public attention to this, and only had a few people they told about it. Again, Betty told her sister. They told of course, they told Dr. Simon. They told
the military.
But they also had a private event where they went over it, and that private event was actually taped, and it got in the hands of a reporter named John Luttrell, a reporter for the Boston Traveler, who would take the recording and write a multi-page article called UFO Chiller, Did They Seize Couple?
What was this dude's last name again?
Luttrell.
Luttrell these nuts.
Luttrell these nuts, yeah. He didn't just seize the recording, though. He somehow got a hold of the confidential notes from Dr. Simon.
That's a huge HIPAA violation.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm going to say this now. I don't think Dr. Simon had anything to do with that, because when they decided to write their book, they wrote it in collaboration with Dr. Simon.
I'm going to say this. It is not hard for a reporter to get information out of a hospital or a doctor's office, because there's always someone.
Yeah. I mean, that's especially a big problem back then. It's like, someone was probably within that office was just like, fuck it, you know,
well,
whatever.
He offered me $50 and that'll buy a whole new car.
Yeah.
That's not true, but
their very public outing would force them to set the record straight. So they got with Dr. Simon, as well as an investigative journalist, to come out with an uninterrupted journey, the official account of what the incident was. So essentially, they were like, you know what? I don't want this Luttrell guy to control the narrative.
You told our story. Now we're going to tell our story.
And to be clear, this book would not have happened if Luttrell didn't say anything. Which is why I am, like, super, like, in the camp that the Hills were not lying. I don't think they were lying. I don't think... Like, I don't know if this happened. It could have happened. But I believe they believe it happened. The story would explode from here and become one of the most influential alien abduction stories in history. So when I said this is the most influential abduction story in history, I mean, like, people talk about Roswell as an incident. This pretty much colored every, like, you don't even have to talk about Betty and Barney Hill as people or as the events. You hear about gray alien Zeta Reticuli, you hear about flying saucers, you hear about probing and all this shit. It all stems from this story.
But this is the grandpappy.
Yeah, this is the grandpappy of it. Like, Roswell happened before, but Roswell did not. I would say that Roswell as a cultural event
took off after this. Like, it happened and it was weird.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, this is an alien abduction. This is aliens got drunk and crashed after pounding Steel Reserve.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like when you look at like the stuff from like the 80s and 90s from the Roswell stuff, like we talked about the Fox special, whereas the alien,
autopsy.
It's a gray alien that they use, a gray alien which is described in this story. So, like, while I say that like the Roswell incident had huge cultural impact, even outside of like the UFO stuff, this one, even if you don't like know about the story, you know about all the details, because those details are just seared into the cultural zeitgeist. To get back into, we're going to go a little bit into later life. Unfortunately, Barney would suddenly die at the age of 49.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah,
because I'm only 41. That's
yeah. I mean, it again.
As kids,
you get older, you realize how
like at
how
20,
small 10 years is.
At 20, you'd be like, man, 49. That's 50. That's old. And now I'm like,
you still got like 20, 30 years. Like what 50, 60, 70. You could probably have 30 years after 50. So, but he would die of a stroke suddenly. And
a stroke at 49, damn.
And also, he did lose all of his teeth, which is usually an indicator. Not a direct indicator, but that is an indicator for, like, cardiovascular disease.
Yeah.
Again, not direct. I don't want to scare people. Just
you
generally
heard it here, y'all. Graves said if you lose all your teeth, you're going to have a stroke. Yeah. Not really.
But Betty would actually steep herself after, like, because up until Barney's death, they were still into, like, the civil rights movement. I mean, they were even attacked at some point, I believe, because, you know, they were doing things, and, you know, white mobs would attack Barney. He'd be like, fuck him, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
And, like, and they were always like the kind of optimistic reformist type of civil rights activists, where they're like, we can change the system for the better, as opposed to like a more radical approach to, like, we mentioned Malcolm X, who was like even later in his short life, unfortunately. I mean, he was always more radical.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for him, some stuff probably wouldn't have happened, because King's process was working, but let's be honest, the threat of violence is the only thing that some staunchly wrong-ideaed people will ever acknowledge, because that's the only tool set they know.
It's funny, the thing you don't hear about in school is, like, Malcolm X got, I wouldn't say less radical, but when
he did the Hajj, and he learned that Islam had no color, when he actually went and walked from Medina to Mecca, that really changed how he viewed some things. And that's probably what led to people killing him, is because he started to take a different approach.
He wasn't, like, completely, like, what is it, black nationalist, or
I don't want to
black separatist.
I don't want to get fully into that, because that's something we really need to do research on before we say anything. All I'm going to say is that he did the Hajj, and he came back different.
Yeah. Betty would write a book called A Common Sense Approach to UFOs, which documents 30 years of research into the subject, and she would never marry again. She would, like, after her husband died, she was like, I'm just going to do UFO stuff. And then she would pass away in I think in like 2005, 2010 at 85. Like, she died at a pretty young age, but, or not a young age, pretty good. Like,
I was like, hey, let me be nice and see if I can get you this book. It's $173 for the hard copy. It's nearly $3,000 for the soft copy.
Yeah, no, it's out of print, unfortunately.
The Japanese version is free on Kindle.
But is it in Japanese?
It is in Japanese.
So I would have to go, no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I kind of have a explanations side, but I really think, despite whether or not you believe it happened, and I think this is important, especially when you're talking about stuff like this, do the people believe it happened? And I think that's a different question than saying, oh, well, these people are full of shit, or, you know. But, like, because when we talk about these things, we often frame it from a perspective of, like, is this person grifting? Is this person trying to get attention? We kind of call attention to that, I guess, being a more naturally skeptical podcast overall.
We're more skeptical, but okay, like if you mention the Warrens or, you know, the spookiest hobbit of them all, Zach Baggins, we are immediately
like,
more
this
skeptical.
Is bullshit. Yeah.
Well, I don't always say bullshit. I'm more skeptical, but like if you said that Josh Gates from Destination Truth or any of the people associated with Ghost Hunters, I give them more credit.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. And in this case, it's like the exact opposite of the Travis Walton story, which the Travis Walton story, Fire in the Sky, it was like immediately like, this is sussy-wussy, you know? I mean, this guy...
Is it also kind of like Chariots of the God kind of skepticism here?
Is that the Ancient Aliens?
Chariots of the God is Eric Von Daniken, so I think, yeah, that's the Ancient Aliens, white supremacist bullshit.
Yeah. With Travis Walton, it's the Fire in the Sky guy.
Yeah.
Remember that he, as soon as he came back, because he went missing for a couple of days, and then as soon as he came back, they're like, yeah, it's aliens, and they made a big stink about it, and he pretty much rode that his entire life.
To be fair, if you got a thing.
If you're
the UFO guy.
I mean, if you can just go on Joe Rogan, by the way, so many Joe Rogan things popped up on this when I was doing this.
Hey, Joe Rogan, I'll show up on your podcast and just call you a bald asshole.
He won't let us on there. Because he doesn't know us and we're nobodies.
No, but... how did we make it big? We kept telling Joe Rogan he has a bald ass head and he's a dickwad.
Bald head and noodle nipples, you dumb bitch.
Oh, the skin tag. Oh, God.
Fucking
why'd you have to put that image back in my head?
So anyway, my sources are Wikipedia for basic references.
I hate you.
The Literary Hub, revisiting the infamous Hill case of... God damn it, Hewitt. Revisiting the infamous Hill case of an era of more UFO news and government secrets. The University of New Hampshire, Betty and Barney Papers, 1961-2006. Portsmouth's Historical Society, Betty and Barney. Boston Public Library, The Abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. And Fire of Learning YouTube, Abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. Thank you for listening. We are Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. We do other things too. You know, we play games on Team Bonus Action. We also do Brouhaha. But why don't you tell us about TBA?
TBA is a group of friends who like to play tabletop and other games online for charity. Right now, we are recommending, if you watch us, that you donate to the ACLU or to the Trevor Project. Here in a couple months, though, we will be switching to Extra Life with the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals.
Yeah. With that, I hope you have a good day or night, whatever time it is over there.